What's up guys, welcome back to District Trending. In this video we're going to be going over the real reason why people dislike Russ, and if you are a fan of Russ or if you do dislike him, make sure to leave a like on this video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join our iPhone 10 giveaway. Getting right into this video, there are a lot of reasons why people dislike Russ, so in this video we're going to be going over each reason one by one in detail. Starting off with the first thing that people dislike about Russ the most has to be the way that he's very cocky about everything that he does. If you don't know, if you've seen any of his interviews, you know that he loves to assert the fact that he's done everything himself. Many rappers like to take the approach of being very humble about their music, saying that a lot of people got them to the point where they are in their career, but Russ actually takes the opposite approach and pretty much just does the exact opposite and goes and says that he did everything himself. He made, obviously if you don't know his past, he's made a lot of albums on his own, he's done a lot of projects even before he blew up, and he wanted everyone to say that, like, you know, he's the one that did all of this. His success is purely him and him only, and that comes off as very cocky to a lot of people, and that's why they dislike him. The self-confidence that he always shows in these interviews makes people really dislike him as well, because he's very obviously upfront. Kind of like when you say that you don't care about something so many times, people are just convinced that you do care about something to the point where it's pretty much like you're almost obsessed about not caring. And you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty much just the opposite, you know. He's just using it as a mask to basically hide all of his insecurities and stuff like that. It's really sort of this thing that people don't like about him, because then he goes on to say how like the entire industry is all fake and stuff like that, and then he goes on to say that he's not fake, I am the best, and so he pretty much puts himself on a pedestal above the entire industry. People really did dislike the fact that he put himself on top of everyone when he's not even considered part of the whole mainstream rap genre. People thought that he was only really just one of those outcast artists that, you know, is in the general hip-hop scene. However, he likes to consider himself at the very top when he really doesn't have any room to speak on what he's saying. On top of that, multiple times when he is sort of attacked for having this sort of very cocky attitude, he goes, I don't really care about anything, I have such a great life, I don't really care what anyone says, I like to be myself. And then he tries to put that whole persona about how it's good to be yourself and stuff like that, but it's so obviously a, you know, fake persona that he puts on just to mask his insecurities and stuff like that. And after he keeps the same very cocky persona interview after interview after interview, people do start to build a reputation around him of where he just starts to be this very arrogant person where people just don't like to hear about him at all, and he talks very highly of himself even though the music that he has doesn't really accompany what he's saying. For example, Kanye can get away with saying a lot of the stuff that he does because he is pretty much one of the most respected names in the rap industry. With everything that he's done for the game, he's pretty much revolutionized it many times over, while Russ really he's been around and he has some kind of impact in the game, but you know, it's not really to the point where he can go and say all the crazy stuff that he does. Getting into the reason why people really started to dislike Russ, and it really ended up blowing up on social media and it became a meme just to dislike him, was because of a shirt that he wore on an after party, and he posted it on Twitter that mentioned the use of narcotics in a negative way, saying that all people who do narcotics are just losers. And it really upset a lot of people when he said that, because it is a very closed-minded perspective on the whole issue. The fact that Russ can pretty much take the entire issue of, you know, the use of narcotics and pretty much just symbolize it into this little thing where pretty much anybody that uses it, no matter what kind of issues that you have in your life, pretty much just make you a loser in his eyes, really just showed how much of a person that he is. Pretty much a very closed-minded person, and people did not like that at all. People instantly, as this happened, started making fun of him on Twitter, and rightfully so in my opinion, because people should not, you know, have a very simplified look at very complex problems like that. And on top of that, it was actually found out that Russ was a hypocrite as well, because many years back he did make several tweets before he blew up about using narcotics for recreational purposes in a way that he pretty much contradicted himself in this statement here on his shirt. And even people that were on Russ's side when all of this stuff went down actually did end up losing a lot of respect for him when it did come out that he, you know, was a hypocrite because of all this stuff. And Russ was so aggressive with this message that when Lil Peep did pass away, Russ still tweeted out the same thing, saying that he was, you know, a very bad person, and, you know, anyone who does, you know, narcotics recreationally is a very bad person and a loser as well. And so many people attacked Russ for this, and rightfully so in my opinion, because again, you know, a lot of people are mourning Lil Peep as he just did pass away, and then Russ just comes up and walks up and it's like, you know what, Lil Peep was a loser, I dislike him because he did all this stuff and he glorified And since everyone was in a very emotional state about Little Peep passing away, people were going to get very, very angry at Russ, and that's exactly what happened. The multiple big name rappers got very upset at him and did call him out on his entire message being fake and saying that he was fake in general, and this just more asserted the fact that people just did not like Russ, and it just made a lot of people dislike him. Whether you like the guy or not, it has to be said that when someone does pass away, you don't immediately go, that person was a loser because they did this or they did that. That's just not fair to the person who just passed away, and there are thousands and thousands of fans who did that. A lot of people did get very upset about that, including me, and this, along with the whole shirt thing that happened after his concert, really did assert and pretty much showed Russ's true colors when it comes to public opinion. People just sort of dislike him. It wasn't even a thing about being cool anymore. It was more of a thing about just, you know what, if you're angry at him, that you have a right to be angry at him because of all the stuff that he's done. He's very cocky. He's very, full of himself. He pretty much disses people who just pass away, even though they did narcotics recreationally. Now, the whole conundrum with Russ is the fact that he does have fans, and the reason he has those fans is because they do like his confidence. They do like that personality. The fact that he really is confident about what he does, and he really doesn't care about what anyone else thinks, even though this is a ploy for people, those exact fans, to pretty much like him in the first place. But what they do like about him really is the fact that he's confident, and that he's confident in his own grind, and he's been grinding this out for years, and he has been for years, even that he's been doing this since apparently he was 14. He's been making beats. But the thing is that people do like that aspect of the grind, and people do like that. When people have to go and wake up every morning at 6 a.m., they want to listen to something that really does empower them, to get the work done, so eventually in 20, 30 years, you might be able to live and afford that nice house and afford something really nice. I personally can definitely identify with that part of Russ, being very confident in what you do, and always constantly being on the grind and the come up, but once you have that veil removed and you really see the true colors of that whole ploy of Russ is this personality thing to get you to like him in the first place. That's why people started to dislike him in the first place. And at this point in Russ's career, he's pretty much become a meme in Twitter, and pretty much anytime he posts a tweet, he has like 20 or 30 hate comments just spamming L or something like that along those lines, where people are just giving him hate for no reason, even though they haven't even given his music a chance. Now, of course, I understand that Russ has done some bad stuff, and even I dislike his personality for that, but when people just blindly hate on someone, I feel like it's really undeserved. So I'm kind of in this middle area here where I kind of do dislike Russ, but at the same time, if you have not checked him out yet and you don't know what his music sounds like, can you really dislike him? And of course, by dislike, I mean spreading hate in his comments and saying his music sucks and all this kind of toxicity, even though you have never given his music a chance. Obviously, you have every right to hate his personality, and I do too. He also comes off as very fake in multiple occasions when he says that he doesn't care about something. Of course he cares. Obviously, he's just saying that as a ploy, like I mentioned before, where he's just trying to allude to the fact that he really does care about all this stuff. He really does care about every single hate comment he gets his way, when obviously that mentality is very toxic on its own, and it could lead to a bunch of issues in his own mental health. And on top of all of that, of course, you have the issue of the t-shirt, where putting that whole message on a t-shirt, of course, a lot of people in the rap industry are against that message because a lot of them do narcotics for recreational purposes. They rap about it all the time in their lyrics. But Russ, on the other hand, he likes to put it on a t-shirt and pretty much go against the grain and say this stuff. And on top of that, putting it on a t-shirt is kind of symbolic of really like blowing up that message in your face. And if you don't agree with his message, then again, like the message, like the t-shirt said, that you are pretty much a loser in his eyes. I really don't think that's the right approach to it. There's a lot of nicer ways that he could have gone about it, but he decided to choose a very ignorant way, in my opinion. Russ will forever be one of those rappers that you either love or you hate, and I think both answers are perfectly respectable in their own ways. I think if you are a fan of Russ, then you definitely have, the right to say that. Of course, people might clown on you for liking him, and of course, if you do dislike Russ, and vice versa, pretty much, you might have people clown on you for disliking Russ as well. It really does come down to your own social group and the people you hang around with. Anyways, that is going to do it for this video. I did try doing a little bit of a different type of commentary in this video, just rambling out, talking about my thoughts, because this is something I am a little passionate about. But if you guys did enjoy at any point, make sure to leave a like on this video and comment down below what your thoughts on Russ are. And if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on to stay in the loop of all the rap news that is happening. If you do want to join our iPhone 10, to do is leave a like on this video and subscribe to our channel with notifications on. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.